We're going to be working together as a group, working together as a community to research the co-main event of UFC 297 between Raquel Pennington and Mayra Bueno Silva. Yesterday, we researched the fight between Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland. If you want to watch that live stream, go check it out. It's on my channel, or just wait until early next week, where I summarize what we learned in the research session in a breakdown video that I'll be dropping on YouTube. So, coming into this fight between Pennington and Silva with an open mind, and the benefit of researching fights like this as a group is that we can all work together to use the wisdom of crowds, to study the footage together as a group, to all share ideas, to hopefully come to a consensus opinion on which side is the strongest side to be in going into the fight this weekend. I think most of us in yesterday's stream very much favouring Strickland to beat du Plessis. So hopefully there's no ambiguity between, you know, who the majority of us lean towards in this Pennington-Silva fight by the time we've finished the fight research session. Because the beautiful thing about researching these fights, studying the fight footage, is that the fight footage is the only place where you're going to find truth and honesty. You know, the footage doesn't lie at the end of the day. So when we do these streams, most of the time, everyone is in agreement by the end of the stream who's more likely to win. So hopefully we can dig up a bet on this fight, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So let me just make sure everything's working. Yep, we're live on YouTube. We're also live on Twitch. Are we live on Twitter? Let me just check this. So this is going to be a live stream research session where we work together, and so there won't be any timestamps, any structure like that. We're just going to work through the footage, see if we can dig up any bets. So I'll just share this on my Discord. Bam. And we'll put it out on the Telegram as well. And then we'll get into it, guys. Almost done. Boom. Happy days. Alright, let's get into it. So, let's start off by taking a look at the odds. So we can see that Mayra Bueno Silva is currently around an average of 1.57, which is going to be minus 175 for an implied probability of 64%. If we take a look at the odds on Pennington, she's around an average of 2.40, which is going to be plus 140 for an implied probability of 42%. So Silva the favourite here. Pennington, 35 years old, 5'7" with a 67.5-inch reach. Silva, 32 years old, 5'6" with a 66.5-inch reach. So both girls roughly the same age, roughly the same size. But obviously Pennington has been around for a lot longer and therefore has got a lot more miles on the clock. Although hasn't really shown any signs of decline, so maybe it won't impact her that much this weekend. Obviously the biggest fight of Pennington's life. She has been in a title fight before, obviously against Amanda Nunes. But this fight against Silva going to be much more winnable than the fight against Nunes. So Pennington has a chance now to end her career on a high by winning the belt. So what we are going to do is get into some fight footage. So we'll start off by taking a look at Mayra Bueno Silva's last fight against Holly Holm. And the way that this stream is going to work is that I'm going to drop links for their past fights into the YouTube chat and the Twitch chat, and all I want you guys to do is sync up the first round for me, and then we'll watch the fights together, fight companion style, Joe Rogan style,
of UFC.
using a countdown clock. And hopefully we will be able to dig up some bets, which would be very nice. So let me just grab those links for you. So here is the link for Mayra Bueno Silva versus Holly Holm on Fight Pass. I'll grab you the ESPN Plus link now. There it is. There we go. Hey, what's up, Hiltz? Good to see you, mate. What's up, Mac Lockwold? Hope you're doing good, mate. That's it, mate. Compound interest, bankroll management. That is it, dude. Definitely, mate. Hopefully we can have a big weekend this weekend. Hit a nice winner on the football earlier on to hopefully set us up for a nice profitable weekend. If we could get a nice winner this weekend, I would love to make a profit on football and UFC this weekend. Hopefully we could do it, man. We started strong with a win on football, so starting the weekend on a high, which always feels good. I hate taking an L on Friday night, because then you're kind of going into the weekend low in confidence, which we don't want. Confidence is everything in this game. Alright, so let's get into the first fight. So the first round of Holly Holm against Mayra Bueno Silva starts at 2 minutes and 54 seconds on Fight Pass. And the way this is going to work is we'll watch this together, we'll sync it up, we'll get into it, and hopefully we can find the bet. So let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. Holly Holm, Mayra Bueno Silva. We actually won a live bet on Mayra Bueno Silva in this fight, which is very, very nice. So both girls roughly the same size. Silva, decent favourite. I also noticed as well, Silva's odds are starting to decline quite quickly. They're down about, well, they've declined about 10% since this time yesterday. So it's a reason why I really wanted to research this fight tonight, because by Monday the odds on Silva may be unplayable if we wanted to bet her at the rate at which they're declining. So you see Holly Holm shoot a single leg there, but Silva reads it and does a really good job of keeping her balance, backing up against the cage. Very, very nice work from Mayra Bueno Silva. And now we see Holly working for a body lock, and you can see Mayra Bueno Silva's got that overhook on the left side, and she's trying to fight hands on her right side to prevent Holly from connecting her hands together and getting that body lock. And you can see now Mayra Bueno Silva switches from an overhook to an underhook on the left side. Now goes to an overhook on the right side, and is looking very comfortable here. Is looking really, really comfortable. Let's make sure I'm not blurry or anything like that. No, we're good. Cool, cool. So Mayra Bueno Silva looking really comfortable in this position, and we want to pay a lot of attention to how Mayra Bueno Silva reacts in this position, because Raquel Pennington is a fighter that does like to spend a lot of time in the clinch. A lot of Pennington's fights take place in the clinch, so it'll be interesting to see how Silva reacts here. So far, looking comfortable. Takedown offense looking good. Obviously, Holly struggled to get in on her legs, and the main reason was because of that tight overhook and then the deep underhook as well. So aggressive start here from Mayra Bueno Silva. Taking control of the centre of the octagon, putting Holly on the back foot. Very aggressive. And look at that Muay Thai clinch. Very nice. Clears her legs and hammers Holly with the knees. So Holly tries to get in on the legs of Mayra Bueno Silva there. Nowhere near it. Nowhere near it. And Mayra Bueno Silva right back to that overhook. She's doing a really good job of making it difficult for Holly to drop in and drop down low and get in on her legs. It's that overhook traps the right arm of Holly so she can't drop levels to get in on the legs and upset Silva's balance. So Silva looking good here, man, with 2 minutes left to go in this first round. Like what I see. Holly with a little short elbow on the break from the clinch, and Mayra's like, yeah, good elbow, nice, very nice, very nice. If I say so myself. But very aggressive from Silva though. She is putting a lot of pressure on Holly. A nice right hand there from Silva. What I really like from Silva is every time Holly ties her up, notice what she does with her butt. She kind of sticks her butt out and clears her legs so that Holly can't get close enough to her to grab a hold of her legs to go for the takedown. You know, even here, she's very good at disengaging those legs. Very nice work from Mayra Bueno Silva. I like what I see. She's looking very sharp here and good stuff. Very, very nice stuff here from Mayra Bueno Silva. Hard knees, hard kicks. Hasn't had much success with her boxing, but obviously it's difficult to look good against someone like Holly when it comes to boxing, because Holly doesn't like to engage. She's always circling away. She's in and out, doesn't spend much time standing right in front of you, which makes it very difficult to land anything clean on her. She's really good at making herself a moving target. But when Mayra gets to the clinch, those knees are very, very nice. And what's quite impressive about this performance is Holly's a decent offensive wrestler, and yet hasn't even come close to a takedown, which is quite impressive. Mayra Bueno Silva with that underhook on the left side, again making it difficult for Holly to really get in deep on the legs, which is significant because Pennington very rarely grapples. So the fact that Holly has actively tried to get this fight to the ground and has been unsuccessful is huge, because Pennington probably won't try as hard as Holly did to get the fight to the ground. Pennington's more than happy to stand and bang. And those underhooks paying dividends for Silva, looking very comfortable on the feet. So sync up round 2 for me now, which starts at 9 minutes and 7 seconds. Keith Peterson with a very lazy start to the fight. Sync it up for me. Sync it up. 9 minutes 7 seconds. What's up, Cam Boomin? Hope you're doing good, mate. We've literally just started, man. Have you just got home from work? I hope you've had a good day, mate. What's up, Bizbing? Bizbing, man. My hero. My favourite fighter of all time. I never sleep. Never sleep. Sleep when you're dead, man. That's what they say. Sleep when you're dead. You know what I mean? Sleep when you're dead. It's 1:45 a.m. in the UK, and I'm staying up late tonight to adjust my sleep cycle. So when we live bet the UFC tomorrow, we'll be fresh, man. We won't be sleepy or anything like that. So we can stay sharp. Hopefully, kick the bookies in the nuts. We're due a big win on the UFC, and we've been grinding profits on the football. But it's time we do the business on the UFC now, and hopefully that starts on Saturday, although not the best card, to be honest. And what's a bit upsetting is we lost a really good fight today. Manel Cap, Mateus Nikolai, such a good fight. I'm kind of gutted that the fight got cancelled, because that could have been a good one for live betting. Anyway, let's get into the next round. Round 2. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. See what we've got, man. So Silva's takedown offense looking really good in round 1. Obviously, Holly didn't get in super deep on her legs with the takedown entries, but in terms of technique wise, Silva did everything right. Tight overhooks, you know, her balance looked very good. She fought for underhooks as soon as she could, and because of that, it just made it difficult for Holly to get anywhere near a takedown, really. You see Holly finally drop down and go for a double leg there, and Silva attack with a choke, and she gets it. Very, 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 very nice. And then Holly Holm does the little trot, the little run away like Clay Guida. I don't know what it is when a fighter loses, they just go for a little run. Clay Guida used to do it, or you might still do it actually. I think Guida does still do it when he loses. I think he does still do it. Alright, okay, so impressed. Mayra Bueno Silva's takedown defense looking pretty good. I tell you what we'll do next. Let's take a look. We can actually watch Mayra Bueno Silva's last 3 fights pretty quickly, because they've all ended pretty quickly. So let's do that. Let's take a look at her last 3. So now we'll take a look at her fight against Lena Landsberg. So again, I'll drop the link in to YouTube and Twitch. So just sync up the first round of Landsberg and Silva for me. and we'll get into it, man. Here's the link for Fight Pass. Here's the link for Twitch. Oh, sorry. Here's the link for Fight Pass. Here's the link for ESPN Plus. Is coming now. Here we go. There it is. Hey, what's up, Sci-Fix? No, you haven't really missed anything, man. We've only watched Mayra Bueno Silva against Holly Holm so far. And aside from Bueno Silva's takedown offense looking pretty solid, we didn't learn too much from that fight. So now, let's get into this Landsberg versus Silva fight, which starts at 1 minute 33 seconds. So let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, 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 go. Yo, I'm loving Mayra Bueno Silva's hairdo. She's going for like the teddy bear look. I'm a fan. I do like it. You very rarely see girls go for the teddy bear look in the UFC. I think more of them should. The hair's looking good. We've got a bit of a foul though. I'm not too sure exactly what happened because I was too busy admiring Mayra Bueno Silva's hair. But was it an eye poke? It was. Oh, it was a pretty nasty eye poke as well. That is a nasty one. Right in the eyes. Pretty nasty. I always love that when you see fighters like Mayra Bueno Silva, literally, she was poked in the eye like 10 seconds ago, and she's ready to continue already. She's gonna be in agony. Like, you know what it's like. If ever you get poked in the eye, you only have to, like, you know, just little bink, you know what I'm saying? And it's agony. So the fact that these fighters continue fighting so soon after being poked in the eye is insane, because Landsberg went right in. What's the ref doing? What is the ref doing here? I'm not sure what he's doing there. He was almost like putting him in a certain range, which they weren't in before the eye poke, as far as I know. But anyway, Mayra Bueno Silva, the aggressor here, taking control of the centre of the octagon. The most success she had with her striking against Holly Holm was obviously in the clinch off those knees. Didn't really see them fight at distance very much, because anytime the fight was at distance, Holly was looking to tie her up and work for the takedown. So hopefully we get a chance to see a little bit of Silva striking at distance here. You look at that, man. Silva is looking to stand in the pocket and counter. She doesn't want to back up. Every time Landsberg's coming forward, she stood right in front of her looking to counter. And what I'm noticing about Silva is a very heavy kicking game. I remember a few years ago when she fought Marina Moroz, she almost stopped Moroz with leg kicks. And you can already see she's landing big, heavy, hard, impactful kicks here. Big leg kicks, I mean, look, another one there. Big leg kicks, big body kicks. She's really digging in and landing these kicks with a lot of impact. You can already see, unlike the tummy area of Landsberg, a lot of redness. And I think Silva's only really landed 2 or 3 of those kicks. So the fact that her stomach's already reddening up like that is just, it just highlights really how heavy those kicks from Silva are. Look at the accuracy. Bam, 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 over and over and over again. I very much like what I'm seeing from Silva. Obviously Landsberg is a bit of a human punching bag at the moment. She's not really offering up much resistance or deterring Silva from coming forward, but Silva is looking sharp. And we're talking a little bit about this in the Duplessis Strickland fight research session yesterday, where we made the observation that Duplessis always fights in the opposite stance of his opponent to continually be in the open striking stance, where the power of his power kicking leg is accentuated. And what I'm noticing about Silva here is obviously Lena Landsberg is in the orthodox stance, Silva's in the southpaw stance, and so the power of Silva's left kicking leg is landing with maximum impact. Literally, as I've said, she's fighting southpaw, she's switched to orthodox. So she's not southpaw anymore, but she was. Nice spinning back kick there. Now she's back to southpaw. Now she's back to orthodox. A little bit of stance switching going on here from Silva, giving Landsberg something else to think about. Minute and 50 seconds left to go. But what I really like about Silva is she's landing clean, hard, damaging, impactful shots, which from memory is something that Pennington doesn't do. From memory, Pennington's one of these fighters that struggles to put her stamp on rounds, doesn't really do much damage. So the fact that Silva is able to land really hard, damaging shots like this, I do like it a lot. I like it a lot, man. Minute and 20 left to go. You can see how strong Silva looks in this clinch position. Looks for a takedown there. No need for that, really. You are a far superior striker to Landsberg. We know Silva can be quite weak off her back, so no need really for a takedown here. But she's going for it anyway towards the end of this round. Obviously, the countdown clock shows that the round is just ending. We've got about a minute left because the fight was stopped for a little while due to a eye poke. So Silva gets the body lock takedown here, looking to flatten Landsberg out at the end of the round. I'm very impressed by Silva. She has looked pretty good in this fight and the fight against Holly Holm, and she's showing a nice diverse skill set as well. Good in a clinch, good balance, good takedown defense, good offensive wrestling with his body lock takedown, amazing kicks, staying heavy and tight from top position here. We're already betting Sean Strickland this weekend, as well as a fighter on the prelims. Could we also end up betting on Mayra Bueno Silva? She's looking very good. She's looking a lot better than Raquel Pennington from memory. She's looking very, very good. I'm impressed. And that is it. So sync up round 2 for me now, guys. I'm just going to check the football scores. Querétaro are playing Toluca in the Mexican Premier League. And Querétaro are winning 1-0 going into the second half. First game week of the season for the Mexican Premier League. Very nice. We do love Mexican football. We perform reasonably well on it, although haven't performed that well on it this season, unfortunately. But you can't win them all, right? Anyway, let's get into round 2. So sync it up for me. It starts at 8 minutes and 47 seconds. 8 minutes 47 seconds. Let's get into it. Sunday Morning is saying Mayra Bueno Silva is a smash. She is a smash. Yeah, man. What can I say? I cannot disagree with you there, man. Alright, let's get into the next one. Sync it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. So, very impressed with Silva. She is very, very good. Very sharp on the feet. Fast hands. Lands mean, nasty, hard, damaging, impactful shots, which is something that obviously a lot of girls in the bantamweight division don't have, Pennington included. Now she's trying to step in with the elbows. Very nice. Look at the combinations from Silva. 2 big hooks and a leg kick. She's mean, she's nasty. I like what I see a lot from Mayra Bueno Silva. I like what I see a lot. Goes for the judo throw, gets it. Straight into mount, surely not. No, she decides to take half guard instead, which I don't mind. Less chance of getting bucked off and reversed from half guard, especially at the beginning of a round when your opponent is going to be a little bit fresher after having a minute to recover in between rounds. You know, Landsberg might have had the energy to hit a reversal quickly there, so she was like, I'm not going to rush mount. I'll wear her down a little bit from half guard first, then I might think about advancing the mount. That shows good grappling IQ from Mayra Bueno Silva, in my opinion. Very nice work. Heavy and tight from top position. She looks strong on top. Really, really strong. What's interesting about Mayra Bueno Silva, and now she's looking for mount. She's trying to free that left leg. What we do know about Mayra Bueno Silva is in the past she's looked very weak off her back, but what we also know about her is that her takedown defense has improved exponentially. So you would hope that some of those improvements to her takedown defense have also had a knock-on effect to her ability to pop back up to her feet if she does find herself on her back. Like I say, I don't think it's a deal breaker if you're very weak off your back against someone like Pennington, because she never really tries to take her opponents down. But I don't like fighters that just kind of lie on their back throwing up long shot arm bars, which typically is what Mayra Silva does. So midway point of round 2. Silva heavy type from top position. She's been very patient with advancing the mount. See, she's pushing down on Landsberg's right leg there. The step over in the mount. Beautiful work. Landsberg now giving her back up to defend the mount. Silva was at risk of being shaken off there. She was a little bit too high up on Landsberg's back, but Landsberg moved very, very slow, so she got away with it. Not the tightest of hooks here from Silva either, so a higher level grappler may have a little bit of success pivoting into top position from here. Silva fortunate in that Landsberg obviously isn't great on the ground. She's getting away with it at the moment, but these hooks are very loosey-goosey. So not the best back control from Silva. She's making a lot of mistakes, but Landsberg's not really making her pay for him. We were talking about this with Duplessis yesterday. A lot of people think Duplessis' wrestling is a lot better than it actually is because of mistakes his opponents have made in grappling positions, which have made Duplessis' grappling look better than it actually is. Kind of seeing a little bit of that from Duplessis, a little bit of that from Silva here. This back control, the hooks are a little bit weak. Like, look, there's a lot of space in there for Landsberg to just explode and pivot into top position if she showed a little bit of urgency to do so, but she isn't. And now the opportunity's gone because Silva's locked up the body triangle, which makes it 10 times harder to escape. So very nice work from Silva, but a higher level grappler like Pennington could potentially make her pay for some of these little mistakes that she's making. So it looks like she is thinking about, oh, there we go. Yeah, she's on the bottom. You could see her coming, man. Her back control's loosey-goosey, and she just was giving Landsberg a lot of opportunities to pivot into top position. Landsberg just never took them until the very end. She could have done that like a minute ago. And then, very nice, Silva with the Hail Mary submission, the low probability move that plays out for her against a low level opponent. Very nice. Alright, so what we will do next is, what fight should we watch next? We can watch one more of Silva's before we go into taking a look at some Pennington, because this Egger fight only lasted 1 minute and 17 seconds. So let's get into this one. Drop the link in for you now. Here we go, guys. There's the link for Fight Pass. There's the link for Twitch. I keep saying Twitch. I don't mean to say that. My fucking head's gone. What I mean to say is I'll get the link for ESPN Plus now for all our brothers in the United States. I would love to go back to the United States this year. I went to New York last year. First time I've been to the United States. I fucking love it. I love that. I loved it. I love New York. I love that country. So I would love to go back to the US this year if I can. Obviously depends how the gambling goes. If we can make some money betting on football in the UFC, that would help. Like I say, we've been grinding profits on football recently, and I'm hoping, man, I'm hoping we can do all right on the UFC now in January. Tomorrow night's event is a bit tricky, to be fair, but 297 looks like a great card. Obviously bet Strickland yesterday. Silva's looking pretty good here. I'm also betting Jasmine Jasudavicius this weekend. I don't bet big favourites in MMA very often, but that's one of those fights where it's like Priscilla Cachoeira's takedown offense is so bad and she's so weak off her back. Jasmine, big, strong, physically imposing, good offensive wrestler, home advantage. I know she's a big favourite, and you very rarely often hear me say things like this in MMA. But I do think, like, I hate guys that talk like this. Like, you know, guys that are like, oh, so-and-so fighters a lock. this guy's free money. I hate talking like that because MMA is such a crazy, chaotic sport that we know that anything can happen, right? The reason why we love the UFC is because of how chaotic and crazy it is and how we get surprised all the time by incredible things happening. So I never use words like lock or free money, that kind of stuff. But every once in a while a fight pops up where it's like you kind of are as close to being a lock, as close to free money as you can get. And I do think Jasmine Jasudavicius next weekend is kind of in that category. Obviously, unfortunately, you gotta pay the price because her odds are crazy steep. I hate betting big favourites in the UFC, but man, Cachoeira's takedown offense and ground game is so bad. Other than like something crazy like a disqualification for Jasudavicius or an injury or something like that, I just don't see how she loses, man. Especially with the card being in Canada. Jasudavicius having home advantage on her side. Hey, what's up, Pep Sylvia? Hope you're doing good, Pep, mate. Hope you're doing good, man. Pep Sylvia is asking if Pennington is a high-level grappler. From memory, definitely not. So I'm only talking from memory. Like when we actually watch a little bit of footage on Pennington in a bit, I might change my opinion. But from memory, Pennington does give up position a decent amount on the ground. What we also know about Pennington is that she's, well, from memory, I might change my perspective when we watch the footage. But from memory, Pennington is like really stiff, really rigid, and she really struggles to get in deep on her opponent's legs and hips and upset their balance, which is why you see Pennington spend so much time in her fights in the clinch, because she just, for whatever reason, is very stiff. She doesn't get in on the legs, and that's why Mayra Bueno Silva's performance against Holly Holm is so interesting to me, because every time that Holly worked for any type of takedown above the hip height of Silva, she just gone nowhere near it. Like Silva just went to that overhook or went to the underhook, and Holly just couldn't drop a level. And that's really interesting to me because Holly is far better from memory at getting in on the legs and hips of her opponent than Pennington is. So if Holly struggled to do it, you'd think that Pennington would really struggle. But obviously, like, we might see something different when we watch the footage. But yeah, from memory, yeah, I think Pennington could struggle big time here, man. Hey, what's up, Jay? I don't bet LFA, mate, only because, so I only bet the UFC, and the only reason being, the landscape of betting is like different in every country. So where I'm from in the United Kingdom, we're lucky in the sense that we have a lot of betting sites that we can use to place bets on. The problem is UFC is a really low liquidity sport on like European betting sites. You know, it might be a bit different in the United States, but in the UK it's quite low liquidity. And when I say low liquidity, I mean compared to other sports. So for example, betting on the UFC compared to like football as an example, really low liquidity. So then when you get into the smaller promotions like LFA as an example, it's like micro liquidity. It's like tiny, it's like non-existent. So because I've been betting on sports for so long, I've had hundreds of accounts closed down, and these days it's just really difficult for me to get access to betting accounts that I can use to actually place bets. And the problem in the UK is if you bet on like LFA, PFL, or these promotions, because there's such like tiny liquidity, if you start to make a profit on those sorts of promotions, your account just stands out like a sore thumb. You get closed down so quickly, because the best way to keep a betting account open as long as possible to squeeze as much profit out of it as possible is to just try and stay under the radar. You know, mix it up, bet on lots of different sports, bet on high liquidity sports, and basically not smash the bookies on low liquidity sports, which are going to cost them a lot of money, right? Because there's no one else betting on those things to kind of, you know, hide the fact that you're a beast, basically, right? It's one of those things where if the betting sites are offering like betting on a certain type of sport or promotion, but not many people are betting it, if you suddenly start betting that particular thing and doing really well at it, your account is just going to stand out, get exposed. The betting sites are going to see your account very quickly and shut you down very quickly. So for me, even though you could make like a little bit of money betting on stuff like PFL, LFA, because it is so hard for me to get accounts these days to place bets with, it just isn't worth it, because I would just get accounts closed down too fast, man. So I used to bet smaller promotions when I started, but now I only bet football in the UFC, because I can't deal with the fucking account closures, man. They're aggressive over here, and it's getting worse. Every year it gets worse, man. Every fucking year it gets worse. Jay's also saying Pennington's pulled off a few guillotine subs, but she's rigid for sure. Yeah, it'll be good to see. So hopefully we can see some fights of Pennington grappling hard. From memory, I think there was a bit of grappling in the Kiazon fight. We'll skim through. Maybe we'll use UFC stats to show us all of Pennington's fights where there's been a decent amount of grappling, and then we can kind of cherry pick those ones to watch. So you know what, Pep Sylvia, mate? So Pep is saying he likes Gillian Robertson and also Tavares for UFC 297. And let me just take a look. So I don't know anything about Ramon Tavares. I've never seen him fight before. I haven't researched this fight yet. He's making his debut, right? Yeah, I've never seen this guy fight before, so I don't know anything about this guy. But you know what? Gillian Robertson was one of the first names that jumped out as a potential bet on this weekend's card. She was one of the first fighters that jumped out at me as a potential bet. And you know what else? Let me show you the back end of my website, man. Because I do not rate Polyana Viana very highly. Let me just show you my results database, man. If we just go into the back end over here, and then we go to the database. Usually I would have these results on the front end, but my website's currently being redeveloped at the moment, which is why you see this fucking shit on it. It's being redeveloped, so my results databases aren't on the front end at the moment, because I've got to rebuild all those results pages at the end of January when we get another week off from the UFC. No, we don't want to watch the football stuff. If we go UFC pre-fight betting, I can show you. I need to show you this so that you can kind of understand what is going on, man. Where are my results? Here we go. So what I wanted to show you is the fact that I don't rate Polyana Viana at all. So I've bet against Polyana Viana in her last 2 fights. I think she's awful. I think she's absolutely terrible, man. And I'm guessing you're leaning towards Gillian Robertson for the same reason Robertson was one of the first names that jumped out at me as a potential bet, and also the reason why I've bet against Viana in her last 2 fights. And that's just because I hate fighters like Viana, that if you take them down, they just lie on their back and do absolutely nothing, right? I hate it. And that's the reason why I've bet against her in her last 2 fights. I'm only showing you these 2 bets to highlight the fact that I think Polyana Viana is a joke. So when I say what I'm going to say next, you'll appreciate I'm not one of these Polyana Viana fanboys, because there's loads of them out there. Every time I bet against Polyana Viana, there's guys that'll be like, oh, but she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion. She's a Muay Thai champion. They pull up her Wikipedia. They show all these tournaments and shit she's won in BJJ to justify the fact that, you know, she's a decent grappler. You know, they'll highlight how many wins she's got by armbar on her record. And every time I bet against Polyana Viana, people will be like, oh, no, she's a beast on the ground. She's going to submit this girl. Her armbars are amazing, blah, blah, blah. She's awful on the ground. So I just wanted to show you that I'm not a Polyana Viana fanboy, right? I bet against her a lot. Reason why I say that is because I researched this fight myself earlier on. Gillian Robertson was one of the first names that jumped out at me as a potential bet on this card, and I was blown away by how bad she looked. And this is why fight research is so important, man. I had this perception of Gillian Robertson that she had like an ability to just stay outside of a range where she could be hit, so that her lack of striking didn't really cost her that much. But then I kind of had a perception where she had really nice takedown entries and really nice deep double leg takedowns and things like that. And what's crazy is that just hasn't been there in her last 3 or 4 fights. What I'm noticing in Gillian Robertson is she seems to be declining or going backward. Since she left American Top Team, she's just not the same. I know she's still got Dean Thomas in her corner, but in her last few fights, man, she has looked absolutely dreadful. Like, I remember earlier in her UFC career, if she were to get her opponents down and get into top position, she'd look so strong, so heavy from top position. She'd just have like this crushing grappling control. And that just isn't there anymore. She looks physically weak on the ground, gives up position a lot. Her offensive wrestling's not very good. And what's really, really, really interesting about this fight is, whereas if these two were fighting maybe 3-4 years ago, I would have been all over Robertson, because with those nice deep double leg shoots to show us and how bad Viana's takedown defense is, you'd think that Robertson would easily be able to get the fight to the ground and just dominate Viana from top position. But what's quite wild, if you watch Robertson's last 3-4 fights, which I'm sure you have, but it surprised me how easy it is to take Robertson down and how weak off her back she is. So the conclusion I came to on this fight is Viana's takedown defense is non-existent, and she's so weak off her back. If you just take her down once in a round, right, you can hold her down for the entire round, no problem. She does nothing off her back. She's awful. She's hit a few Hail Mary arm bars off her back, whatever. But against any decent grappler, you take her down, and she's so easy to hold down. She does nothing off her back. And that's good for Robertson, because if Robertson gets into top position, she's going to be able to control Viana easily. But what's crazy about this fight is, in Robertson's last 3 or 4 matchups, she's had exactly the same weakness. She looks so weak off her back as well. Her takedown defense is so bad. And another thing that I don't like about Robertson is that when she loses faith in her ability to land a takedown, she starts pulling guard. Or when she gets hurt on the feet or starts to get tired, she starts to pull guard. She does this thing where she'll attack with a takedown, and if she doesn't feel she's going to complete the takedown, she'll just pull her opponent on top of her. And that bothers me in this one, because on the ground, Robertson looks physically weak these days. Whereas from top position, when Viana's the aggressor in grappling positions, she does look quite big and physically strong and powerful, like physically imposing. So it's a mad fight. Like, I would love to know if you disagree with what I've said, Sylvia, because sometimes I do make the huge mistake of just overthinking a fight. And like I say, Robertson was one of the first names that jumped out at me as a potential bet this week, and then as soon as I researched it, I was just surprised how much I feel she's gone backward. So if I've missed anything, let me know, man, because I might just be being too harsh on Robertson. I just didn't end up liking her as much as I thought I would. Sorry to go off on a tangent, guys, for everyone here for Silva Pennington, but I did this Viana Robertson fight. It's an amazing fight. I love fights like this, so I love talking about it, because the odds on both girls are reasonably good, and you know, we should see a lot of grappling. So if we can work out who the better grappler is, it could be a good opportunity to make some money. But it's a tricky one for me, man. It's a tricky one. So Edward Kelly is saying that Raquel seems to have gone more stiff since the accident that she had. Oh, Edward, you've just reminded me of something that we didn't talk about at the beginning. Actually, we had a pretty shit start to this live stream. There were 2 things that I've completely overlooked. Completely overlooked. Is it Hashimoto's? Or It's not. It is. It's an autoimmune issue, right? But it's not Hashimoto's, right? Well, if we type in thyroid, we'll bring that up, and then obviously another one, Mayra Bueno Silva USADA. I completely forgot to mention these things at the beginning of the stream. So we went through X factors, size, age, all that sort of thing at the beginning of the stream. We didn't go through this shit. So first thing that we need to talk about, and Edward Kelly has just reminded me, is Pennington suffers from autoimmune hypothyroidism, which obviously is a bit of a nightmare if you're a professional. I mean, it's a nightmare if you're anyone, right? But if you're a professional athlete, it makes it a lot harder to perform to your full potential. So my wife has got an autoimmune disease as well, unfortunately. So I do know quite a lot about managing autoimmune diseases. We manage it with diet, lifestyle, and for the most part, it's pretty well controlled. And I've, over the years, like over the last sort of 5-6 years, I've spent so much time learning about autoimmune diseases, reading a lot of books, reading a lot of medical studies. For the most part, even though the symptoms of autoimmune diseases are very different, they all, for the most part, tend to have the same triggers. And it's just the same triggers with symptoms presenting in different ways, right? So what's really interesting about when a fighter develops an autoimmune disease is a lot of the things which would usually trigger a really nasty autoimmune flare, you'd kind of associate with a cage fight to the death. Because some of the biggest triggers for a flare up in autoimmune diseases, things like extreme acute stress. So if you have a period of extreme stress, your symptoms can flare really bad. If you lack sleep, that can have an impact on flaring up your symptoms. You think about it, if you're preparing for a fight, you're probably very anxious, very nervous about the fight, which could disrupt your sleep. You know, maybe you're having to fly to wherever the fight's taking place, right? I don't know where Pennington lives. I think she lives in Colorado, right? So the flight's not too bad to Canada, but maybe there's a little bit of jet lag there. The weight cut is obviously really intense, really difficult, you know, puts a lot of stress on the body. So not only the mental stress and the anxiety of fighting, the pressure, but you've also got the physical stress on the body of cutting weight. So whenever you see a fighter that suffers from an autoimmune disease, it's really brutal, because you look at some of the symptoms, you know, tiredness, sensitivity to colds, constipation, dry skin, weight gain, puffy face, hoarse voice, coarse hair and skin, muscle weakness, muscle aches, tenderness and stiffness, you know, slowed heart rate, depression, memory problems. I mean, these are not issues you want to be having during a title fight, in a cage fight to the death, as someone as mean, nasty, vicious as Mayra Bueno Silva, right? So, look, a lot of the symptoms of autoimmune diseases can be, you know, somewhat controlled with like diet and lifestyle choices, stress management. But how the fuck are you supposed to manage stress when you're going into, you know, an extreme situation like a title fight this weekend? So for me, just knowing that Pennington's got that health condition makes her completely unbettable for me. For me, there's just no way that you can bet Pennington in this fight, because no matter how much you know about betting on the UFC, no matter how much research you do, ultimately, you're going to have no way to know that if the night before the fight, the morning of the fight, an hour before the fight, you know, these symptoms could flare up and have a significant detrimental impact on Pennington's ability to perform to her full potential. So it's just one of those things, man. I forgot to mention it at the beginning of the stream, so shout out to Edward Kelly for reminding me, because he mentioned the accident that Pennington had. But yeah, the fact that she suffers from hypothyroidism, bit of a deal breaker. And lifestyle, stress management, diet, medication can all control the symptoms, but if you know people with autoimmune diseases, you'll know it's pretty brutal, man. They can rear their ugly head when you least expect it. Fuck everything up. So the other, obviously, X factor that we forgot to mention is that this is Mayra Bueno Silva's first fight back after being popped by USADA. So she said it was for her ADHD medication. Don't actually know what was the substance that she got popped for. Should we Google that? What was it for? Do we know? What was the substance, man? So she tested positive for Ostarine and LGD 4033. Wait a minute. So the Brazil native tested positive for Ritalinic acid, which was for her ADHD. Alright, let's fact check this. Okay, cool. So she got popped taking Ritalin. Alright. So she tested positive for Ritalin. And what impact does that have on her performance? Taking your top knot, dropped some major knowledge on the stream yesterday. He's dropping more knowledge now, man. He just brought up another X factor. And this is why I love doing these research sessions on live stream, man, because when we all work together, there's like no stone unturned. I completely forgot about that, taking your top knot, mate. Completely forgot about it, dude. So Adderall isn't going to give her any like athletic performance, is it? Like athletic boost. Basically the reason why I'm going down this rabbit hole is, if this is Mayra Bueno Silva's first fight back after being popped by USADA, I don't want to potentially bet her if the reason why she's looked so athletic and been able to land such hard, impactful shots in her recent fights is because she's been doing something which boosted her testosterone, which is why, you know, she's so powerful, physically imposing for the bantamweight division. But if it's Adderall, that shouldn't really do that, should it? I don't think. It's like a psych drug. Might help her concentrate or focus, but okay, interesting. So Jay is saying the Ritalin is speed, so she may be more sluggish without it. So like, speed is where you've just got energy for days, right? I hear, like, I've never taken it, but I've heard from friends that have taken it that they can just be awake for like 2-3 days without sleeping. Cheers, Jay. That is interesting. It's just something to think about. Interesting. So Hiltz is saying Ritalin could end up being a deficit. Why did you say that, Hiltz? Let me know, mate. So taking your top knot is saying, or is just let us know that Pennington and her girlfriend or wife, is it her wife now? Tisha Pennington, they've just recently had a baby. Now it was Tisha that gave birth, right? So it's a little bit, it shouldn't have a massive impact on Pennington, but obviously the stress, the pressure of having a newborn is not easy. But you know what? When I see like fighters that have just had a child, it can go one of two ways. It can disrupt their sleep, put a lot of stress, a lot of pressure on them, which could disrupt their ability to perform to their full potential. But at the same time, I tell you one thing right now, man. My son's going to be 15 years old on Sunday. I've got a 15-year-old. And it was the most motivating thing in the world for me when he was born. Before I had my son, I was working in a grocery store, earning minimum wage, heading nowhere fast, no motivation, no drive, literally a bum basically. Do you know what I'm saying? The second my son was born, straight away I just worked non-stop relentlessly ever since, because soon as you have that child, it's almost like a punch in the face, where it's like you can't be a bum anymore and you can't slack off, because if you're a bum and if you slack off, it's not only now going to have a negative impact on your life, it's going to have a negative impact on your child's life as well. So you got to get your shit together. So the thing is, when I look at someone like Pennington that's just had a new a new baby, that could motivate her like crazy, and we could end up seeing a better version of Pennington than we've ever seen before, where in the past, obviously she's been a bit passive at times, she struggled to put her stamp on rounds. Maybe she won't make mistake, or maybe she won't make that mistake in this fight, because she can't afford to fuck around anymore in the clinch for 15 minutes doing nothing, because if she does that, she risks losing, right? Whereas if she really goes for it, wins the title, she could change her child's life. So I lean more towards it being a good thing if a fighter's just had a new baby. Now it's different if they've given birth, because obviously that has a massive negative impact on their body. But in terms of like psychologically, I think it's a good thing, man. Alright, so what fight? I've even lost where we are. We're watching Mayra Bueno Silva against Stephanie Egger. So you've got the links for them, guys. It's only 1:17, so let's just get into it, man. Let's take a look at it. Switch the camera as well. Alright, let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Bit of a tangent. Sorry, boys. I got a fucking bad habit of doing that, man. Going off on tangents. But there are a lot of X factors that I forgot to mention. I should have done it at the very beginning. So I very much like what I'm seeing from Silva to kick things off in the first two fights of hers that we've watched. And I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of Pennington's grappling if we can. Nice body lock from Silva. Falls into the judo throw. She's still got the body lock though from back control. Her back control against Landsberg didn't look good, but she got away with it. And Egger flattens her out. Very nice. Straight into her guard. And Silva loves an armbar, right? Look how she's turning her hips in, looking for the armbar there. It's kind of criminal that Egger gets caught in an armbar, because she's got a base in judo, so you'd think that would be the last submission you'd catch her in. But there she goes. Silva loves an armbar, trying to get that right leg across the face of Egger. Well, there she goes. Lovely jubbly. Another armbar win. Egger's saying she didn't tap. The ref's like, I don't even fucking know what happened. So, yeah, I guess the fight's over. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. The ref had absolutely no idea what happened there. He just kind of took Silva's word for it. Alright, cool. So we've watched 3 fights of Silva now. Let's take a look at Pennington. So we'll watch her last fight against Ketlen Vieira. I can't remember too much from this matchup. So let's get into it. So I'll drop the link in now for everyone. Hopefully we learn a little bit about Pennington in this fight. I was actually quite surprised Pennington beat Vieira. I was very much leaning towards Vieira in this fight. So we'll see how this one plays out. So here's the Fight Pass link. And I'll grab the ESPN Plus link for you now. Take care, Cyfix, mate. Hope you have a great weekend, Cyfix, mate. Yeah, Cyfix, let's do some more live streams, man. Next week, should we do some more next week? Should we do some more? So we've done these two. Maybe we could do Alan Evloev. Although to be honest, it's not the best fight to do a live stream for, because it's been so long since we saw Alan's grappling. It's been a fucking eternity, right? When was the last time we saw Arnold Allen grapple? You'd have to go back to the Nick Lentz fight 4 years ago. Jesus. So we haven't seen Allen's grappling in such a long time. It's going to be tough to know where he's kind of at against Evloev with how good of a wrestler Evloev is. But yeah, maybe we could do that fight. This fight's a good one, Curtis Barrio, if we want to do a live stream for that. Let me know, guys. I mean, these live streams don't get tons of views, but the way I look at it is I'm researching the fights myself anyway, so when we've got a fight a lot of people are interested in, we may as well research them together, right? Rather than all doing it separately. So here's the ESPN Plus link for Pennington against Vieira. Patrick Deppner is just mentioning when Cerrone started to do well after having his baby. That's a good example, man. Alright, let's get into this next one then. Vieira Pennington. So the fight starts at 1 minute 39 on Fight Pass. So let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Here we go. As the camera pans round, you can see a bit of a size advantage for Vieira. She looks huge. Pennington looking a little small in there. Interesting to see how Pennington ends up winning this, because I can't remember a lot about this fight. So we've watched a decent amount of footage on Silva so far. We know her strengths on the feet are those leg kicks and body kicks. So we're going to be paying close attention to how susceptible Pennington might be to those. Obviously Pennington does have a really heavy boxing based style, so she might be there for the leg kicks with how heavy she's going to be on that lead leg. Is it me, or does Pennington look quite soft as well, man? Like, in terms of physicality, you can see, you can like visualize straight away from the footage of Silva we've watched that there could be quite a big difference in physicality here. Pennington looks a little bit soft, whereas Silva's really, really powerful, really athletic. Nice right hand there from Vieira. Caught Pennington cold. So obviously Vieira's style of striking is a lot different to Silva's. What we've seen, the main differences between Vieira and Silva is Vieira's using that lead hand to measure distance, and every time she reads that Pennington's going to come forward and attack her, she just slips back a little, so that Pennington has to kind of retreat and she can't fully commit on coming forward and attacking. What we've seen from Silva is she likes to stand her ground, so she doesn't have that sort of in and out footwork that Vieira has. Silva wants to stand right in front of you, slip your shot with head movement, and come right back on top of you with big counters. So Pennington's having a lot of trouble landing on Vieira because of how elusive Vieira is. But I don't think she'll have as much trouble landing on Silva, because Silva's not going to kind of back up and move in and out like this. She's just going to plant her feet and look to fire back. Pennington obviously struggling to get near Vieira at the moment. And I'm watching this fight and I'm kind of wondering how Vieira loses this, because at the moment she's really, really comfortable. We said the same thing when we watched the Robert Whittaker-Dricus du Plessis fight last night. Robert Whittaker was so comfortable in round 1 until he got taken down. And you're watching the first round thinking, how the fuck does he end up losing this? Like, du Plessis wasn't getting anywhere near him. And you see the same here, right? Pennington's starting to wear a bit of damage on her face. You know, she's struggling to land anything. She can't get inside the length of Vieira, that lead hand, and Vieira's footwork is looking so good. Very interested to see how Vieira ends up losing this. Was it like a contentious decision? I can't remember what the feeling was around around this decision. Oh my god, why do you not have an SSL in 2024? Crazy. So was this like a bad decision? Because Vieira has looked really comfortable in this first round, but I do see Baldy Head Sal D'Amato sack cage side fucking scoring fights, so maybe he fucked it up. I'll have a look at the media scores now. So sync up round 2 for me. I mean, it looked like a pretty comfortable round for Vieira. She outstruck Pennington by a decent margin, inflicted more visible damage. It was a close round, competitive round. Nothing major happened, but for me, Pennington achieved virtually nothing in that round. So sync up round 2 for me, which starts at 7 minutes 51 on Fight Pass. I just want to see the media scores for this fight. Wow, it was a bad decision by the look of it. I was only questioning the decision. I can't actually remember if it was a bad decision or not, but when you see Vieira win that first round quite comfortably, then I'm thinking to myself, how does Pennington win this, right? Because she's down a round at the end of round 1, which means she's got to win the second and third to take a decision, which isn't going to be an easy thing to do when you look at how comfortable Vieira is. So it does look like it was a really bad decision. I've only got so much hard drive space though. I can't remember fights like 5-6 months ago. I watch too many fights every week. I have to push the old ones out, replace them with new memories, right? But if anyone in the chat is in my live betting group, did we live bet this fight? This feels like the kind of fight I would have live bet. Let me know. If we did, who did we bet? Good night, Cyfix, mate. Let me know, man. I can't remember. Oh, nice one, Kamboomin, mate. Appreciate it, man. Alright, let's get this next round going. Sync it up. Get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, let's go. So good first round for Vieira. Be interesting to see if Pennington gets a little bit more aggressive here. And it looks like she's lucky to even get a title shot. It should be an all-Brazilian title fight this weekend. Vieira should be fighting for the belt, not Pennington, if these media scores are anything to go by. We'll see how we score it, right? I scored round 1 pretty clear for Vieira. We'll see. Oh, there you see Baldy Head Sal D'Amato in the background. So there's no fucking surprise that the fight got scored wrong. But for me, round 1 clear for Vieira. How did the judges have it? Yeah, Sal D'Amato, Derek Cleary gave round 1 to Vieira. Michael Bell, Pennington. Michael Bell clearly scoring round 1 with a fucking blindfold. Nice left hand there from Pennington though, snapping the head back of Vieira. That's the first clean hard shot that Pennington had landed. So Pennington in on a body lock now. But Silva's done a really good job of defending takedowns from this position. So we'll see if Pennington's able to get, like, drop down and get in on the legs and hips of Vieira. Vieira working to break the grip. Like, from memory, I don't ever recall Pennington having much success with her grappling. It's always clinch work. Good hand fighting there from Vieira to break Pennington's grip and turn into a nice right hand on the separation as well. So midway through round 2, this is a very, very close round. I've got Pennington edging this round at the moment just because she's landed the cleaner, harder shots, and you can see it on Vieira's face. She's starting to wear some visible damage in this round, which wasn't there in round 1. Pennington's starting to find the timing on her right hand. So I've got Pennington winning this round so far. She just kind of bum rushes forward, Pennington, man. She's quite similar to Duplessis. She's not the best at fighting at distance. She wants to, like, just blitz forward. Pump the jab. We got the low blow, the VAD shot. We've got the VAD shot. It's actually a crazy fight, man. When Raquel Pennington was back in Invicta, she fought Kat Zingano. And if you go back and watch Pennington Zingano from Invicta, probably about bloody 10 years ago now, it's a funny fight because they both just knee each other in the vaginas all fight, and they both just get on with it, like no fouls. They just stay in the clinch for huge chunks of the fight and just knee each other over and over and over again in the vagina. It's a bit of a crazy fight, man. Literally, that's all they do. They just stay in the clinch, just kneeing each other. So, don't see fouls for that very often, or stoppages for that very often. But here we go. Vieira Pennington back at it. You could kind of see what I mean, right? Pennington doesn't do the best at distance. She kind of lunges forward. But at distance, she's not the most effective. What I will say is Vieira hasn't thrown many leg kicks. We're seeing her chip away at the legs there, but hasn't really thrown too many leg kicks. But I am noticing that Pennington does stand very heavy on the lead leg. And we know they are a huge weapon for Silva. She really digs into her opponent's legs with hard, heavy leg kicks. Minute and 30 left to go. So I do have Pennington winning this round. I think she just landed the cleaner, harder shots in this round. She's wearing more visible damage, but it's been a good round for her. A minute left to go, that might change, but it's just one round apiece at the moment for me. But has only shot one takedown in the fight. So we're almost 10 minutes in, and she's only shot that one body lock takedown. Which was also quite high up above Vieira's hips, and we know Mayra Bueno Silva's takedown offense is pretty good above hip height. $20 seconds left to go. Yeah, I've got this one round apiece. Let me know how you're scoring it, guys. Let me know how you're scoring it. But I've got this one round apiece at the moment. Let me know. Let me know. How have you got it, man? Let me know. I agree, Hiltz, man. Hiltz is saying that he's not seeing anything that he thinks will cause Silva an issue. I definitely agree, mate. And Jay is saying that he thinks Silva's going to dominate. I do agree, man. I would like to look at a bit more footage, but yeah, I definitely think Silva's going to eat Pennington alive on the feet from what we're seeing. So sync up round 3 for me, boys. It starts at 14 minutes 50 seconds on Fight Pass. So everyone's scoring this fight one round apiece as well, by the look of it. Taking the top notch guy 1-1 as well. So let's get into this third round. Start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, go, go. Little bit of hug to start the round. We love that. Little bit of love. Can never have too much love, right? I'm also thinking, even though Vieira's gone to the leg kicks a little bit, she hasn't really sat down on him and dug in the same way the Silva does. You know, we're into the third round now. We know the volume of leg kicks that Silva throws. You've got to question what Pennington's mobility would be like at this stage in the fight if Silva's just been hammering her legs for like 10 minutes. Nice level change from Pennington there. Vieira reads it. Gets that underhook in play on the left side pretty quick. And both girls much more aggressive at the start of this round than they've been in the previous two rounds. This is the old school versus new school as well, right? I think Pennington's had like double the number of fights that Silva's had. So it's like Pennington's been around forever. Silva, a shiny new up and comer. Will Father Time play a factor in this fight? I know Pennington's 30, you know, she's not crazy old for 35, but she's been in so many fights, so many wars, taken so much damage. I'm also noticing Pennington taking some big deep breaths in this clinch position. Throughout her career, her cardio has been amazing, but obviously she does look a little bit soft yet. She is 35. She's kind of sloppy with the way she lunges in, right? But whereas we look at the footage of Silva's striking, she's very sharp, very technical. Vieira looking for the judo throw. What I'm also noticing is every takedown attempt from Pennington is really far up above Vieira's hip height. And like I say, Silva's balance has looked amazing in her past fights. She's really, really good at defending takedowns above hip height. You've really got to get in on the legs and hips of Silva if you want to take her down. I know that her takedown defense was tested big time in the Montana De La Rosa fight. And De La Rosa is a pretty good offensive wrestler. So it'll be worth watching that matchup to see how Silva's takedown defense looks there. But I know De La Rosa is a far better offensive wrestler than Pennington is. So that should give us a good indication of how likely it is Pennington could have success with these style of takedowns. You notice Pennington's taking these big deep breaths. This is a close round though. Very, very even round. 2 minutes left to go. It is close, it is competitive. Pennington's definitely breathing heavy in this position though. Nice right hand there from Vieira. Round is still up for grabs with 1:40 left. It's going to come down to who's going to finish the round stronger. And of course, with Pennington being one of these fighters that like to spend so much time in the clinch position, we've seen Silva land really, really nasty knees from this position. So, you know, Pennington's going to be taking damage if she tries to fight Silva in the clinch. She's definitely breathing heavy, man. You know what? I am very, very tempted to bet Mayra Bueno Silva here based on what we're seeing. Very tempted. I also think Vieira's winning this round, so she's got a little bit robbed, man. Vieira's been a little bit robbed. She should be fighting for the title, not Pennington. The judges have fucking screwed Vieira here, man. How do you score this fight for Pennington? Unless Pennington does something huge in the next 35 seconds, which I don't think she's going to. Vieira's won this fight pretty clear, 2 rounds to none. 2 rounds to 1, sorry. So yeah, I've got Vieira winning this third round, man. 29-28. It's a pretty bad decision feel bad for anyone that bet Vieira. You know what? I might have bet Vieira. I can't remember if we live bet this fight or not. But anyway, Vieira kind of robbed there, man. That's a bad one. Alright, man. Edward Kelly asking if Silva sets up her leg attacks. Do you know what? I think she just throws a really diverse range of strikes, right? Knees to the body, big boxing combinations, leg kicks, body kicks. So she's difficult to read, for sure, man. That's a good point from Cam Boomin. You know, if you look at Silva, she's finished three of her last 4 fights. Whereas Pennington's a decision machine. Just a decisionator. And that kind of highlights the fact that obviously Silva just lands the bigger, the harder, more impactful shots. So what should we watch next? Let's take a look at the... I want to watch the Macy Chiasson fight. Because Pennington won by decision. Submission. So we'll get to see a little bit more of her grappling in that one. I'm also going to take a look at UFC stats to see what fights of Pennington's involved a decent amount of grappling. And we can cherry pick those. So no takedown attempts in the Aspen Ladd fight. What I'm going to quickly do is just skim through the Aspen Ladd fight myself to see if there was any grappling in it. If there isn't, then we probably won't watch that one. Or maybe we will. Maybe we will. Alright, I tell you what, let's watch the Macy Chiasson fight first, and then we'll make a decision on how many fights we need to watch before deciding if there's a bet or not. So there's the link for Fight Pass. I'll grab you guys the link for ESPN Plus now. 2 seconds. Where are we? There we go. So sync up the first round for me. Sync it up, guys. It starts at 1 minute 33 seconds on Fight Pass. That's 1 minute 33 seconds on Fight Pass. Let's get it set up. Where's my countdown clock? There we go. Alright. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Go, go, go. You know what, Mo? Mo Sharif is talking about Tazrukian, who's fighting Charles Oliveira. He's fighting Charles Oliveira, right? I agree, mate. I think he's going to cause... In fact, I actually posted about this earlier on in the Discord. This is what I said in Discord. Where is it? Mean Guy asked about the Tazrukian Oliveira fight. I just posted this, man. I think if Tazrukian comes in with a grappling heavy game plan, it could look a lot like the Makhachev fight. Countdown clock's gone again. There we go. Alright. Yeah, Rocky's really sloppy when she comes forward, man. She's just kind of lunges forward, head first. Very sloppy. See how she's very, very sloppy. Nice head movement there. But just very sloppy as she comes forward. She kind of ducks her head down and just wades in. She loves those Superman punches as well. Superwoman punches, I suppose. Again, though, as she's gone to the body lock here and into the clinch, I don't know if we can call that a takedown attempt, but every time Pennington works for a takedown, it's come off the back of the position coming from being just very high up above her opponent's hips. And if you think about it, right, that isn't good against Macy Chiasson, because Chiasson is one of the longest, tallest, lankiest fighters in the division. Mayra Bueno Silva is much smaller than Chiasson, so if you're struggling to get in on the legs and hips of Chiasson, you're really going to struggle to get in on the legs and hips of Silva, because she's got that lower centre of gravity. Nice jab to the body from Pennington. Yeah, she just kind of lunges forward, right? But again, she's like trying to change levels to shoot the takedown. And she's just very, very, very high up above Chiasson's hips, which is a big issue because obviously Chiasson's like much longer and taller than Silva. If you can't get in on the legs and hips of Chiasson, how do you expect to get in on the legs and hips of Silva, right? Kind of crazy, man. Kind of crazy. And then we see Pennington give up a really cheap takedown from the clinch. Chiasson literally just drags her to the ground. Do you know what, guys? I am strongly considering a bet on Mayra Bueno Silva here. Strongly considering it, man. Strongly considering a bet. I think what I really want to take a look at, I think the only thing that we haven't taken a look at yet is Silva's cardio, because the fights of hers we've watched so far have all ended pretty quick. So we'll watch the Yanan Wu fight, the Manon Fiorot fight. Or actually, we might not watch the Yanan Wu fight. We might watch the Manon Fiorot fight and Montana De La Rosa fight instead, because I feel she's going to be made to work harder against Fiorot and De La Rosa. We definitely want to watch the De La Rosa fight because there's going to be a lot of her takedown defense in that matchup. It was a long time ago. It was, almost 3 years ago now. So she's likely improved her takedown defense a lot, but still, that is definitely a fight that we want to be watching. This one, for sure, and the Fiorot fight. So anyway, let's get into this second round. Starts at 7 minutes 44 seconds. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, where's my clock? There we go. So we've been talking a lot about Silva's bad takedown defense, potentially, which isn't actually that bad from what we've seen. But Pennington giving up a really cheap takedown at the end of that round as well. And what's even worse, She looked quite weak on the bottom, which is interesting because Silva looked really heavy from top position against Lena Landsberg. Stayed heavy and tight from top position. She looked really good. Both girls running into each other there on that blitzing attack. Pennington getting aggressive at the start of this round. Kiazon looking for the judo throw. Strong hips from Rocky, though she can't get it. And again, look, Rocky's really struggling to drop down and get in on the legs and hips of Kiazon to upset her balance. That's a decent amount of footage we've watched on Pennington now, and she just really struggles to get in deep enough on the legs to upset her opponent's balance. She's trying to upset Kiazon's balance from like this height. Just so difficult. Like, if you want to topple a skyscraper, how would you do it, right? You attack the base and then it topples over. It's the same with takedowns. You know, if you like attack the top of a skyscraper, you know, the top is going to fall off, but the bottom is going to be intact, right? It's like the Jenga game. You know, you play Jenga, you take out the pieces at the bottom, whole thing's going to topple over. You know, it's the same with takedowns. That's why Pennington really struggles to get her opponents down. We do know that Pennington's got pretty good cardio. Having said that, she was taking big deep breaths in round 3 against Katlyn Vieira, and that could be her hypothyroidism coming into play. She also does look pretty soft. I mean, she looked more soft against Katlyn Vieira than she does here against Kiazon, in my opinion, but Silva definitely the more athletic out of the two. Midway point of the round. What I'm also noticing, the longer the fight goes, the more flat-footed Pennington becomes, which obviously makes her more of a sitting duck to Silva's leg kicks. As literally as I say that, Kiazon hammers the inside leg of Pennington with a kick. She loves those blitzes, man. She loves it. Is this where the guillotine comes? I don't know what Pennington's doing here. Oh, it's a front choke. Kiazon didn't look in any danger and then just gets submitted out of nowhere. Strange finish, man. Very strange finish. Alright, what fight should we watch next? Let's take a look at Mayra Bueno Silva versus... Do I want to watch the Yan and Wu fight? Let's see her against Manon Fiorot, who's obviously one of the best flyweights in the world. Let's see how she does. Now, obviously, this fight is a weight class above where she's going to be fighting this weekend. But let's take a look anyway. Let's take a look. So here's the link for the Manon Fiorot fight. Sync it up for me, guys. Grab the ESPN Plus link now. Now, bearing in mind, this fight was a really long time ago. Back in 2021. And a weight class below where Silva fights now. So, Silva's likely improved a lot since this matchup. So, it starts at... One minute 32 seconds on Fight Pass. Speaking of things starting, we've also got a Mexican Premier League game starting as well. How did the Curataro game finish? 2-2. Fuck me. Fuck me. Curataro were up 2-0. Jesus. And Mazatlan versus Atletico San Luis. Keep an eye on this. Maybe catch the second half if we wrap this session up. Maybe do a bit of live betting. Alright, let's get into this next fight. Start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, let's go. Hey David Zhao, hope you're doing good, mate. Tomorrow's card's really difficult, man, so I only have one pre-fight bet for tomorrow, and that is the over 1.5 rounds on the Gaston Bolaños versus Marcus McGee fight. I think the odds are about 1.71. That's the only bet I've got for tomorrow pre-fight. There's no one I like straight. Next week's card, UFC 297, looks a lot better for betting. But yeah, tomorrow's card's tricky, man. I've just got that one over. Mo Sharif is saying there's so many good spots to bet coming up. Guys like Curtis Blades, Henry Cejudo, Bailon Muhammad, Rakic, Mateus Gamrot, Phillips. Some amazing fights coming up, man. So Mo Sharif has already bet on Mayra Bueno Silva. So it seems like almost everyone is in agreement that Silva's more likely to win this, which is cool. I always like it when everyone's sort of seeing the same things and agreeing, because when it's like that, we often have a really good position to put our money. It was kind of like that last night, right? At the start of the Strickland Duplessis stream, everyone was divided. Some people leaned towards Duplessis, some leaned towards Strickland, but then by the end of the stream, everyone was heavily leaning towards Strickland. So it's pretty cool that everyone was kind of in agreement for that one, and everyone's agreeing on this one as well by the look of it. It just gives me a bit more confidence that we're on the right track, you know? Oh, Mo Sharif. Yeah, no worries, man, about going off topic. It's no problem, dude. Yeah, you know what? I haven't bet on tomorrow night's main event to go. There you see. Look at the difference of the leg kicks from Ketlin Vieira and Mayra Bueno Silva. Look how hard Mayra Bueno Silva digs in with that leg kick. But yeah, so look at the leg kicks, man. Look at that. She damn near kicks Manon Fiorot up in the air. But Jesus, there's like a fucking Spartan type kick from Manon Fiorot. Jesus. Anyway, so Mo Sharif has got 2 bets for tomorrow. He's talking about the fight going deep between Ankalaev and Walker. I like that just because it's big underdog odds. You could see a situation where both guys show each other a lot of respect and it goes deep. And Mo Sharif's also liking Mario Bautista tomorrow as well, which I do agree, mate. I think Mario Bautista is one of the livest underdogs on the card. The only problem is, obviously, there's not too much footage on his ability to work his way back up to his feet. He hasn't fought many wrestlers. But Ricky Simone, if he can't hold Bautista down, I think Bautista's going to cause him a lot of problems on the feet. And to be fair, Bautista does look like a pretty difficult guy to hold down. So I like your thinking there, mate. What we are seeing here is Silva really struggled to deal with the blitzing attacks of Fiorot, but obviously Fiorot gets in and out of distance a lot better than Pennington does. She's a lot faster. She throws a much more diverse range of attacks. Because what Silva's looking to do here is absorb the blitzing attack from Fiorot and then come right back on top of Fiorot and counter, right? But she's not able to do that because Fiorot's getting in and out very well. That's kind of different from Pennington, right? Pennington doesn't get in and out as well. So when Pennington comes forward with blitzing attacks, she's there to be countered. She hangs in the pocket for a little bit. And so she's not going to be able to make Silva struggle as much as Fiorot is here. But beautiful deep double leg takedown there from Fiorot. You see Silva trying to push down on the head, create space to pop back up to her feet. What I do really like about this fight is, even though Manon Fiorot's style is nothing like Pennington's, is good for giving us a look at Silva's cardio. because she is being forced to work really hard here. She's been taken down. She's obviously been forced to absorb a high volume of strikes. She hits a really nice scramble there off rolling for a leg, which is very nice. Putting Fiora on her back at the end of the round. So sync up round 2 for me now, which starts at 7 minutes and 52 seconds on Fight Pass. 7 minutes 52, sync it up. Seven minutes 52. Sync it up, guys. Sync it up, sync it up. And let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Mo Sharif is also heavy on Aliskerov and Imavov. Who are those guys fighting, Sharif, man? Not too sure who those guys are fighting. Jay's saying the Rocky has awkward power in her punches, keeps her chin tucked well. Kamboomin, that is a great question. So Kamboomin is asking how I think Fiora does against Blanchfield. It's really tricky because we haven't really seen Fiora fight a strong wrestler. It's very, very tricky, man. I'm not too sure. We haven't really seen Fiora face someone that can really test their takedown offense like Blanchfield can. But she does have a big size advantage over Blanchfield. Her cardio is great. She's strong. She's athletic. She's not going to be easy to hold down. Blanchfield's a lot smaller than her. And we saw how much trouble Blanchfield had holding or taking Tiago. You saw how much trouble she had taking and holding down Taylor Santos. It was only when Santos started to get tired in the second half of the fight that Blanchfield had success. But then Fiora doesn't ever get tired, right? Her cardio looks really good. So we're taking a look at Silva in the clinch here, which is a position she's likely going to find herself in a good amount against Pennington, who also likes to fight in the clinch. Ref separates them. Quite a fast separation as well, man. Refs often let it go in the clinch for a while. Separates them pretty quick there. What I am noticing about Silva in this fight is that she's getting frustrated. It's really irritating her that Fiora won't stand and bang. But obviously Pennington doesn't have the footwork and movement of Fiora. But I really, really like this fight because Silva is being forced to fight at a high pace. So I'm looking forward to seeing what her cardio looks like in round 3. Because obviously it's her first 5-rounder. Well, it isn't really. The Holly Holm fight was supposed to be a 5-rounder, but it ended in early in the second. So I want to see how Silva's cardio holds up here in round 3. The moment she looks good, still moving well. Can't get near Fiora. She's very frustrated, but isn't slowing down. Just can't deal with the footwork and movement of Fiora. Watching this, man, if Silva does win the belt this weekend, if I'm manning Fiora, I move straight up to bantamweight and take the belt off her. She is absolutely dominating Silva here. So we're putting so much pressure on Fiora. A little bit of showboating from Silva. You can see she's just very frustrated. She wants Fiora to get into a firefight with her, and Fiora's just too smart. Judo throw attempt from Fiora. Initially really strong hips there from Silva. She's not out of the woods yet. Now she is. So again, anytime we've seen a fighter try to take Silva down above hip height, they've struggled very bad. And that's the position that all of Pennington's takedown attempts come from. Just the footwork and movement of Silva, you can see she can't deal with the fact that Fioro's just getting in and out and won't engage with her. Look how frustrated she is. Didn't see any of this showboating in her other fights. She's just frustrated. She just can't get near Fioro and it's driving her crazy. Big body kick. And then look, body kick. Fioro gets on her bike, circles away. Really good footwork and movement. But we know that Pennington doesn't have this kind of footwork and movement. So what I do also like about this fight, it shows Silva's toughness, because she's been a punching bag for 10 minutes. And she's just continuing to come forward, not wearing much damage on her face, just being an absolute dog. Look at this late on. Big combination from Silva late on. So anyway, let's get into round 3. So round 3 starts at 14 minutes and 7 seconds. That's 14 minutes 7 seconds. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Let's get into it. So Mo Sharif is saying Aliskerov's fighting Anthony Hernandez and Imovov's fighting Delidze's brother. Oh, interesting, man. So, let's get into round 3. Start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So what's interesting about this fight, which I quite like, is do we all agree that Manon Fiorot is a lot more dangerous than Raquel Pennington, right? She lands harder, more impactful shots. She's a more technical striker. She's more athletic. She's harder to read. She's got better movement. She's just a lot more dangerous than Pennington, right? And yet, Silva's walked her down now for 10 minutes straight and barely has a scratch on her face. She's not really wearing any damage. Hasn't slowed. Continues to apply the pressure. And if Fiorot has been able to cause her this many problems and not really hurt Silva, you'd have to anticipate that Pennington's also going to have a really tough job in there. Because Silva just keeps coming forward no matter what Fiorot throws at her. I love the toughness. The cardio's looking good as well. Nice double leg takedown entry there from Fiorot. That was the deepest takedown entry we've seen on Silva. It also looks like she's busted her nose from one of those combinations. Her nose is bleeding now. So Fiorot's in half guard. We'll see what Silva looks like off her back here. Historically, Silva's looked really, really weak off her back. So we'll see what she can get going from this position. So Silva tries to turn into Fiorot to create enough space for her to get back up to her feet. So she does a good job of recovering butterfly guard. Didn't have the energy or space to scramble back up. So now she tries to turn to her front, gets to her knees. So this is a lot better from Silva. In her past fights, she would lie on her back and make no attempt to get back up to her feet. What I'm noticing from Silva here is she's way more active on the bottom in trying to create space for herself and scramble back up. So I like what I'm seeing from Silva. Now, she's clearly hurt. You know, she's got a busted nose, but oh wow, the mouth guard's been lost. It's gone down the side of the octagon. Here we go. Midway point of round 3. Another takedown attempt from Silva, from Fiorot, doesn't get it. Very nice. So I am seeing improvements in Silva's ability to work her way back up to her feet. And look how she's just still coming forward, even after that damage to the nose. She's biting down on the mouthpiece, coming forward, trying to bait Fiorot into engaging with it. So there are positives to take from this performance. Nice combination from Fiorot. At this point, Silva just frustrated, getting overly aggressive. But Pennington is not capable of fighting on the back foot like this. So Fiorot capable of causing her problems in ways that in which Pennington can't. Oh, thanks a lot for the kind words, Bab. I really appreciate it, mate. Thanks a lot, dude. Mo Sharif, have you bet on Silva? How many of you guys are watching the stream have bet Silva, and how many of you are going to bet Silva based on what we've seen? What I also really like about Silva is she's got no quit in her. She's literally been lit up for 3 rounds, and she still keeps going. Hasn't really slowed. Still just keeps coming forward, trying to find a way to win. Even with a busted nose. Minute left to go. So nice double leg takedown there from Fiorot. And again, Silva's takedown defense holds up. So, based on what we've seen in these fights, it looks to me like this is going to be a stand-up fight. I don't think Pennington's got the offensive wrestling to take Silva down and hold her down. And so, in a stand-up fight, Silva is clearly the better striker. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But Fiorot looks absolutely amazing. So Jay bet Silva last week, and Sharif is also better. Yeah, you know the problem with Malloy, there's just not enough footage available on him, man. Like, all of his fights have ended so quickly. There's just no way to really know how he's going to deal with Magny if Magny hangs in there and starts pouring it on late. The problem with Magny is that his takedown offense and ground game is so damn bad. He's so weak off his back that Malo can just absolutely dominate him on the ground, which does make it difficult to bet does make it difficult to bet Magny. It's tricky. I do agree the odds are wide, but for me, Magny's on a steep decline, and his ground game is always a deal breaker, especially against these young, hungry bulls like Mallet that are big, strong, physically imposing. He might just ragdoll Magny on the ground. So, what fight should we watch next, man? Do we need to watch any more footage? I'm pretty sure I'm going to be betting on Silva. What do we want to watch? Shall we watch the... Should we watch the Aspen Lad fight? The De La Rosa fight? Is the De La Rosa fight was such a long time ago. Such a long time ago, man. 3 years ago now. Don't know how much that's going to tell us about this matchup. I'll tell you what, let's take a look anyway. Let's just watch De La Rosa versus Silva, because this was the last time that we really saw her takedown defense tested. Like, big time. De La Rosa threw the kitchen sink at her. So sync up this one. Sync up this one. Sync it up. Sync it up. And also, here's the ESPN Plus link. Sync it up. And then we might be done with this one, I think. So let's get it going, man. Round 1. So round 1 starts in 1 minute 24 seconds. That's 1 minute 24 seconds. Sync it up, guys. Sync it up. Alright. Yeah, I agree, J-Man. Those kicks are going to be a problem for Pennington, especially the leg kicks, man. No, I haven't done that stream, Mo Sharif. I might do, mate. A few people have asked me to do a stream for Evloev and Alan, so we could do that on Monday if you want. Could jump into that one. I don't think it'll take long to research because a lot of Alan's fights have ended pretty quick. Anyway, let's get into this next one now. De La Rosa against Silva. Let's get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Let's go, let's go. So, I think this will be the first fight we've seen where a fighter really gets in on the legs and hips of Silva. No one else has really been able to do it, but De La Rosa's takedown entries are a lot better than the takedown entries of the girls that we've seen Silva face so far. She just does such a good job of clearing her legs from underneath her opponent, or clearing her legs from away from her opponent and making it difficult for them to get in on her legs and hips. Look at that body kick. She's so vicious with the knees. She inflicts so much damage with the knees. She's fishing for the same choke she caught Holly Holm with. Hand fighting on the right side. De La Rosa with the takedown. Very, very nice. Silva did a good job of slipping her legs out from underneath De La Rosa. And quickly wall walking back up to her feet. This is good stuff. This is stuff she didn't do earlier on in her career. You can see she's trying to break the grip of De La Rosa now. Remember, this was 3 years ago, so you'd expect Silva to have got a lot better since this fight. Turns into De La Rosa, very nice. Again, fishing for that same choke she caught Holly Holm with. Pennington's going to have to watch herself in that position. But because she stopped fighting for underhooks, she allowed De La Rosa to get in on her legs. Oh, that's a bad cage grab. That's a really bad cage grab. Is that going to be a point deduction? That is a bad one. She was very close to being taken down there. Alright, we're just waiting for the fight to restart. Point taken from Silva. She was about to be taken down, so that's good refereeing. Here we go. Beautiful takedown entry there from De La Rosa, but look at the strong hips of Silva to neutralize. Those knees are so hard and heavy. Big, hard, heavy knees. Everything, she's so mean and nasty. Like, everything that she throws is to really hurt you. She sits down so hard on everything. It's amazing that her cardio is as good as it is, because usually when you see a fighter that is abnormally powerful for the division, it comes at a cost and they lose a bit in cardio with it. She's just a very heavy set fighter. What I really like about Silva is that she does a lot of damage in the clinch as well. She lands a lot of nice elbows, a lot of nice knees in the clinch, which is big because of how much time Pennington likes to spend in the clinch. But Pennington doesn't really do much damage in the clinch. She just kind of holds on to her opponents. Beautiful double leg entry there from De La Rosa. That is an extremely deep double leg. And look at the balance from Silva to stuff the takedown. She did such a good job of stuffing that. So Silva's takedown defense looking pretty good here, man. He's been taken down a couple times, obviously the fence grab, but that was such a deep entry from De La Rosa. And this is why this was an interesting fight to watch, because Pennington's not going to be able to shoot in like Montana De La Rosa. Like, De La Rosa's a far better offensive wrestler than Pennington is. And yet she's really struggling here. All right. So, let's get into round 2. So round 2 starts at 7 minutes and 55 seconds. Sync up round 2 for me, guys. So Mo Sharif is asking about the Topuria versus Volkanovski fight. Do you know what, man? I just think Topuria's cardio might cost him. You know, I know he looked great in his last fight, but if you go back earlier than that, Topuria used to slow down quite a lot in every fight. I mean, he even looked pretty gassed against Bryce Mitchell in that second round. I think he looked a lot better in his last fight because he was the one dictating the pace. When you got, you know, Volkanovski, a guy that can make him work really, really hard, I think the difference will be cardio. Topuria will slow, whereas Volkanovski's going to be a cardio machine over that 5 rounds. So Volk's probably going to cause him problems, man. So Mo Sharif is asking why I don't jump on lines early. It's just because of max bet limits, man. Obviously, the max bet limits only really build up, you know, as you get closer to the fight. So, you know, if you want to go and bet fights that are like scheduled for, you know, the middle, late February, you're not really going to be able to get much money down because the max bet limits are going to be quite low, which is annoying. So that's the main reason, man. It might be different in other countries, but in the UK, it's pretty tough. Pretty tough. So that's the only reason. Although I would love to get more ahead of schedule. I would love to, like, start researching fights further in advance. Like, do you have a problem with max bet limits on upcoming fights? Like, how much money can you get down, say, like a month from now, on a fight taking place like a month from now? You get a lot down? What country do you live in as well? In the UK, it can be quite tough. It's like small max bet limits until the week of the fight. Let me know, man. It would be nice if I could start researching fights further out, for sure. Alright, let's get into the next one, man. Let's sync it up, get it going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Go, 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 go. But yeah, you are right, Mo Sharif, man. I would love to get ahead of schedule, man, and start researching fights like 2-3 weeks in advance. I would love to be able to do that, mate. Hopefully I will get there. I'm really busy right now redeveloping my website, but as soon as that's done, then I can just put all my focus, all my effort into the fight research then, and hopefully get ahead of schedule. I am a bit ahead of schedule at the moment, where I'm already researching fights for UFC 297. But would like to get much more ahead of schedule so I can talk about the fights you're bringing up in a lot more detail. You know what I mean? I would love to have already researched some of the fights you're mentioning. So again, Silva gets in deep on the leg. Oh, sorry, Montana De La Rosa gets in deep on the legs of Silva there, and doesn't manage to get the takedown. Heavy ground and pound from Silva. Jesus Christ. You know what, boys? I think I've seen enough. I think I'm going to be betting Silva. I'm quite happy to bet Silva based on what I've seen. In fact, I may as well log in on my brokerage and do it right now on my brokerage account in case the odds move. While Silva is hammering De La Rosa from top position. Just look at what the odds are on the brokerage. So yeah, I've seen enough, man. I think Mayra Bueno Silva is for sure a bet. For sure a bet. And like Mo Sharif said earlier in the stream, I'm surprised she's not a bigger favourite. I would have her as a bigger favourite than she's at right now. For sure, man. Odds are just loading. Yeah, my only concern with Mayra Bueno Silva in this fight was her takedown offense and ground game, but she has alleviated those concerns in this stream for sure. So as we wrap this stream up, guys, let me know if you're going to be betting this fight, what you think of this one. Let me know what you think, guys. Are you going to be betting it? Do you think Silva's a decent bet? Gives up a cheap takedown there. So on the brokerage, Strickland is 1.